Coming up on this episode of the Homegroup,
Silas catches us up on the stories we miss.
Leo and Annabelle catch us up on the latest sporting results.
And we introduce some new segments to the Homegroup.
So without further ado,
It's on to the rundown.
good morning, Saying Nations, and welcome to this week's episode of the Homegroup. I'm Irina.
And I'm Jeremy. Well, we're at the end of week 5 and we definitely have a lot to talk about.
Starting with Mission Day and house performances. Held Friday of week 4. Well done to everyone for raising $11,500. Congratulations must also go to Regis for winning the coveted trophy.
Well, not only did they show an excellent story of friendship and perseverance, but they also had a great mix of acting, singing and dancing.
Don't forget about Mr. Borgo with his outstanding portrayal of Pope Julius II and Mr. Borro's authentic Italian accent.
Week 4 also saw our aerobics teams dominate at the Region Championships, with all 9 teams progressing to the state finals.
What an amazing achievement. Make sure to support the girls at their finals on June 30.
We also had the artist in residence, Cedric Varco, visit our Stream Weeks 4 and 5. You might have heard him talk about his incredible artwork during morning chapel.
On Tuesday, the 28th of May, we had a special voluntary student mass to celebrate Reconciliation Week. Ghana Elder John conducted a welcome to country and smoking ceremony. By attending the mass on the day, staff and students were able to experience an authentic expression of Indigenous culture.
But that's it for the rundown.
Now, let's get on with the episode.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
I'm Kira.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Juan.
Welcome back to Open Mic.
This week we focused on the question, what is one word to describe Mission Day?
So, without further ado,
Let's hear what you had to say.
Fabulous.
Fun.
kindness.
Inclusive.
Yeah, I was going to say fun too, you stole my word.
Fun!
Hello and welcome back to In Case You Missed It. We'll begin this week in the UK, where the British Prime Minister Theresa May is going to be stepping down from her role. Moving to Indonesia now, and Joko Widodo has been re-elected as President of Indonesia, although the response to this was riots, which left 6 people dead and more than 200 people injured. Coming to Australia now, and obviously the election happened recently, and the question many people were asking was, how come Labor lost when everyone was predicting them to win? One of the factors obviously has to be Bill Shorten's lack of popularity. People clearly didn't seem to like him, and so while he will remain in Parliament, he will step down as leader and Anthony Albanese will take over. The de facto leader for the opposition, Tony Abbott, also lost his seat. Another factor was that the Liberal Party knew where they had to campaign. They did most of their campaigning in Queensland and Tasmania because they knew they could win seats there. They pork-barreled in Queensland, and that paid off for them. Finally, the Labor Party tried putting forth a very comprehensive policy agenda, which hasn't worked very well for opposition parties in the past, and so from a historical perspective, it's not actually that surprising that their campaign wasn't successful. At the end of the day, it may help to think about the election like a car sale. The Labor Party tried to sell a car with an enormous amount of accessories. The Liberal Party tried to sell a car with barely any accessories. The United Australia Party talked about a concept of the car, which they spent $60 million on, and said that the car would come later. The Greens said that they weren't going to put forward any car because they think cars are bad for the environment, and they say that if you want to get somewhere, you should cycle instead. Anyway, that's all for this week. I'll see you next time.
Good morning and welcome to Junior School News. I'm Lucy Abbott.
And I'm Lily Whiteman. We're your junior school news anchors for this episode.
So let's get into the news.
The beginning of week 4 saw the Year 5s go on camp.
We had lots of fun.
My favourite was the Flying Kiwi.
Me too.
Week 4 also had the Year 4 sacrament and of confirmation and Holy Communion.
Moving to week 5, which had the IUI and junior school tours take place.
Looking ahead at week 6, we'll have a junior primary assembly on the Friday.
The mid-year reception transition morning on Tuesday of week 7.
Also on week 7 is the Year 3 end of semester string concert.
Sepsalza Athletics Carnival on the Wednesday.
And the Independent School Swimming Carnival on the Thursday.
But sadly, that's all the time we have.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. We'll see you next time.
And St. Ignatius, remember to always be yourself.
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Report.
I'm Annabelle.
And I'm Leo, and last week saw the third round of winter sporting season with many great games.
Starting with the Senior 3 boys basketball team who defeated Woodcroft.
Moving to the Year 10 football team who defeated Scotch.
And let's not forget about the girls with the Open B2 girls netball team who defeated Moriata High School.
And the Middle C2 girls football team who were defeated by a much stronger team.
Moving now to our squash who defeated PAC.
And finally, the Middle B3 table tennis team dominated.
And the football first 18 had a great win against PAC on the weekend. Make sure you're there this Saturday at Iggy's. We'll be versing our rivals, Mercedes.
The handball tournament's going on as well, and it's great to see so many involved. And there's still so many rounds to come up, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have.
I'm Annabelle.
And I'm Leo, and this has been another edition of the Sports Report.
Good morning, my name is Emma.
And I'm Larika, and welcome to the new segment Behind the Cameras.
Behind the Cameras is a segment about what's behind all the editing and the chaos that happens while we're filming.
It's also about how long it takes and all the problems we face, one being that we've got our script, so we're improvising.
Let's just get started. So right now we're about to film the Anchors segment.
Can we do some interviewing?
Crazy!
Let's do some interviewing.
So, Chloe, what is Homegroup to you?
Homegroup is where we can film, talk, anchor, and we can also edit.
What do you like about Homegroup?
I like setting up for Homegroup and being filmed because it's really fun.
Good morning and welcome to Junior School News. I'm Lucy Abbott.
And I'm Lily Whiteman, and we're your Junior School News anchors for this episode.
So let's get to the news.
The beginning of week 4 saw the Year 5s go on camp.
We had lots of fun.
My favourite was the Flying Kiwi.
Me too.
Week 4 also had the Year 4 sacrament and of confirmation and Holy Communion.
Thank you for watching Behind the Scenes.
See you next time, St. Ignatius.
Hello and welcome to HE3.
Where we answer your educational questions.
So let's see what those questions are.
First question, why is English compulsory up until Year 12?
Well, you see, it's a ploy by the science faculty.
They want you to do as much English as they possibly can during your schooling years.
Their logic is that by the time you don't have to do English anymore, you want to get out of it and so do other things like science.
The whole system has been compromised by the science faculty.
Next question, why does calculus work?
Well, you see, calculus was created during the Byzantine dynasty by the unicorns.
Specifically after the unicorns had defeated the apples in their conquest of the apple tree.
The unicorns went on to differentiate and integrate the Constitution,
thus using their magic to bring calculus into existence.
Next question, why are there so many clocks within the school?
Well, what letter does the word clock begin with?
C?
You know what else begins with C?
Communism.
Now, when you look at a clock face, what do you see?
That each hour gets the same amount of time.
Clearly, it's propaganda. The communists trying to make us see everything that should be equal, to try and make our lives full of things that are equal, and make us all communists.
Furthermore, why are the clocks always broken?
Well, you see, it all comes down to Gerald in accounting.
Gerald wasn't very competent and didn't know a lot about anything.
And so, he couldn't make a working clock.
Hence why all the clocks are always broken.
Anyway, that's all for this week.
We'll see you next time on HE3. Well, what did you think of the new segment, Jeremy?
Well, I think it will be a great addition to the home group.
Thanks. Coming up over the next fortnight,
We have the indoor drone racing and CC 303 after school tonight.
as well as the music cabaret. Good luck to everyone performing.
But we also have the African beat drumming workshop for the Year 8s on Wednesday of week 6.
And on Thursday of week 6 is the SACE music performance evening, as well as a whole school mass on Friday.
That same Friday, we will also be an aerobics demonstration in the Flynn Theatre, where the girls will be showcasing their winning routines.
Now, Jeremy, what's so special about the next episode of the Home Group?
Isn't it just the second to last episode of the term?
Well, it is, but that's not it. It's the 100th episode of the Home Group.
Oh, that's right. 6 years ago, the first ever episode of the Home Group aired.
And to celebrate, we'll be having a very special episode to look back on the past and celebrate how far we have come.
So make sure you tune in, you won't want to miss it.
But sadly, that brings us to the end of another episode of the Home Group.
The 99th episode of that. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, I'm Irina.
And I'm Jeremy.
Good morning and good luck.